I think it's going to be a pretty nice morning to head out to the swamp with the new rig. Beautiful start here. Getting used to living in Bentwood. Hey folks, how you doing out there today? Remo back. We are out on the Bentwood County map, which is the second map in the Highway Haulin 2 region. That's getting to be a bit of a mouthful, but got through it. We're just heading out from one of the new houses with, as you can see, a usable garage. I think I'm up to 7 or 8 houses right now with varying sizes of houses and garages, and we are going to be doing a run out to the swamp. We're going to head up a new trail, and we're going to go all the way over and check out that rocket factory. If anyone remembers it from, might have been first, second video I did on this region, or this map of the region. I'm not finished over there, but there's some to look at. I'd like to hear what you think of the look so far on this general map. We're going to do kind of a bit of a circle around and have a look at a few different areas. First thing we're going to do is head down the highway where we've got stations on both sides of the highway now. The last couple days I've been working on, and if anyone saw the short I put out a couple days ago, there is a much larger service station slash hotel type stop in on the one side of the highway, and the other side's more of a fuel station slash store, just kind of stop area real quick on the other side. This one is the much more lived in one. I'm probably 90% done building this little area here. Threw in a few of the trucks for the video just to make it look a little more lived in. There are going to be a few vehicles to just find kind of sitting around in these areas. So I don't know what's going to stay here. Typically when I'm handing out free trucks on a map, they're usually lower end vehicles that aren't worth a whole lot, so it's kind of a toss-up if you want to sell it or just use it for a bit. Keep in mind on Highway Haulin, there's going to be a job for every truck. It's on-road, off-road. This one's going to have quite a bit more off-road, swamp, and kind of tighter forest running built into the back end of the map, which is where we're heading. I've just worked on this new trail that we're going to be taking. It's another way to get out to this rocket factory, not a cargo trail, although I have no doubt that some of you will use it as such a trail, purely for the challenge most likely. The general map is just about finished. I have one kind of, say, like, it would be like, I don't know, an eighth of the map over in the corner by the refinery area that I haven't filled in with trees because I still need to place some houses and stuff over there, probably for maybe a couple little tasks and just more ambience, roleplay, RP action. This map, I'm really trying to go the extra mile for you all to have a place that you can kind of, pick houses. There's a huge variety of bigger and smaller houses. I think the biggest garages are like 5 cars, smallest are singles. Haven't put them out yet, but I am going to be adding in a few huts and stuff out where we're headed. I'm still kind of working in the little trail system. We're going to switch over to sun here. We don't need to be sitting in the rain right now. Just started in the morning there for the start of the video for the ambience of leaving the house type scenario. So you can see in the background this, we got the trailer store. Part of it's going to need built. Same idea with the garage. This is probably the nicest house. There's 2 real big houses with big garages. We went by that one. I took a few pictures and posted them on YouTube and Facebook of that house in the garage, pizza shop, a little building back there. Anyways, it's probably the nicest house. It's going to be a very high-end one, and it's just about finished. Should be a lot of fun for role-playing. Right here, we're just going by the garage, which you've seen before. I've added quite a bit more. They're selling Durangos. Who would have guessed, eh? The one of the only car models in the game. Which also is going to have a buildable side of it. So you're going to be running some stuff around, open up the garage some more. I'm pretty sure I'm going to set it up so that right now it's the car dealership that wants to add a garage, a service shop. So once you build that service shop for them, you will have access to a garage on this map. That is my mindset right now for what I'm doing with it. Now just over on our left here is the area that I haven't finished building, so we just won't look too hard over there on the camera. Again, I just haven't filled it in because it's easier to kind of rough in your houses and then bring the forest around it. And I just kind of got sidetracked building some of the factories and like the trailer store, the garage. I've added in all the parking spots, a lot of the lighting. Still going to take quite a bit of time to put power poles down the side of all the roads that should have them. All that little stuff takes quite a bit of time, but as I've mentioned many times before, I like to jump back and forth on what I'm doing to keep it fresh. I even downloaded the new Phantom Liberty DLC finally. I played Cyberpunk right when it came out. I beat the game in, I don't know, a couple months real quick, and basically hadn't gone back, and I finally downloaded, and I've been playing it, and I like it. I didn't have a lot of problems when it came out, but having a lot of fun, just kind of break away from map making for a bit and spend a few hours messing around in that game. We're just hopping into the new GWC K2 mod that has been released just recently. I think it just came out on consoles. It could be wrong. I haven't been out in it yet, but so far I'm really liking it. I guess it's based off a real vehicle from what I was reading in the mod description. Gotta say, good job GWC. Very, very nice looking. I like the suspension. So far it's pretty good vehicle, and we'll see what it does in the mud up here. This little area has been in one of the previous videos. If you want to see, there's a river that goes all the way down, or a trail that goes all the way down the side of the river. Nice muddy, fun little adventure trail. Word is going to cut across this shallower part of the river. It's not all crossable even in this rapids. Well, you could get across. You're probably going to bury your vehicle perhaps. I kind of know where I left some of the shallower parts, which I know I could get through, or pretty darn sure. This is a little light on the mud right now. Again, this is a new mod that I'm using, so I should probably, before I make any real adjustments, is bring a truck that I test with quite often just to see and make sure. I don't want this swamp to be just completely stuck, but there are a bunch of really deep mud holes in a lot of places. It should be pretty random. This thing's going through pretty easy. Kind of leaning towards maybe a little bit deeper mud in here. I don't want to be able to, in a regular vehicle, throw it in high gear and not even slow you down. Fine balance with mud, but it's a little bit light if this vehicle is. I'm sure it's similar to other GWC mods, so let's I'll do a little more testing with a few other vehicles. This is the first time I've actually driven through this swamp. There are a few trails, and we're going to actually come up to the section where you're going to be able to build a couple bridges, and I've used that buildable log road. I don't know what season it's from. I haven't really used it much myself, But I've laid in a road all the way across this swamp, which is going to be something you're going to need to get across to get to the drilling place. Other big thing for that is you're going to be hauling that great big drilling mast trailer, so that's the 8 slot. You're going to have to figure out how to get it across this swamp. This gives you the ability to probably, like, we're talking 8-10 loads of logs perhaps that will have to be delivered out, and you're going to kind of build the road in sections. So as you get further out, the next drop off points at the end of that, this is right here with the logs, that's what's left in the game when you build them. So that road has no mud added onto it, but it's going to be pretty deep. You're not just going to be able to drive down it with a big rig, but some may do it. Anyways, option to fix up a road to give you some clear passage, because there is going to be quite a few things to haul out to set up a full drilling rig. So that's the kind of tasks I've set up in this. There is a pipeline for that one that you're going to have to fix up a section of the pipeline, set up the refinery. Essentially the backstory would be it's a place that used to be used and is now resetting up in a different area and reconnecting the pipes and all that kind of fun. An excuse to haul around some cargo. I know some of this river's pretty deep, so I'm just winging it here, and it looks like we're getting through. I haven't really mudded up the river too much. It's a kind of a fine balance with a river between water flow and mud depth. This is what some of the testing you're seeing right now is. I just got to get out here and spend a little more time. It's a huge area to lay mud in. It took me hours. Like, I bet you I spent 5 hours mudding in this whole swamp. You can see basically where we've driven, and now I've made it variable enough that I can just use a great big brush and make the mud deeper everywhere, and it will keep the different depths that I've already put in. So it's not going to take as long to set it up properly, but I still have a bit of work. This swamp area is quite light right here for mud. We're getting through it too easy. I mean, knowing the other vehicles, and actually technically we're using the wheels from the wheel pack for the vehicles, for GWC vehicles, would lead me to believe that mud is just a little bit light. So we're gonna probably deepen it up a bit and maybe thicken it up, play with the settings a bit. This is a brand new trail. This is going to be more of a trailing trail. A lot of these trails are going to be in around the off-road camp that you're going to kind of reset up and get the track cleaned up and set up. And really, it's going to kind of hook into a lot of these areas. It's kind of, as I said, a little over half the map is civilized, good travel roads. And then once you cross the river, that's when it's mainly off-road. It's going to be a lot more mud than you've seen in the last few maps I've done. There's really a whole bunch of big swamps, so lots of opportunities for some vehicle recoveries out in those areas. And again, there's just going to be a lot of free roam camping areas. I'm going to sneak camping areas into a lot of different places. If you've noticed, like the fireplaces and stuff, if you pick the right ones, they glow at night. So I'll really set it up for some nice pictures and role play scenarios that'll keep you coming back to the map and enjoying it. And I mean, when it gets linked with the first map, which as far as I can tell, the only system that won't get the 2-map region will most likely be Switch. I will upload the files, but I'm almost positive I'm going to get the old developer message of it didn't make the cut. It was too big for that console, and I get it. Switch is portable, right? It's only so much available. This is a little split in the trail, a deep side and a shallow side. And a few of the trails I'm going to work things like this in. I figured we'd take the deep water side Right now I can just tell by the feel I don't have enough mud in here. The ground feels too hard. I think we're climbing over branches and little rocks and logs and stuff. So this I just made in the last day and a half. As I was just kind of getting up. I hadn't been up in this corner and worked on anything for a bit. So I'm not surprised that it's a little light on the mud. I always start a little soft and work my way to the right depth. I think it's just easier in general to essentially work your way up rather than trying to erase stuff. Once you get all the lines laid in there, if you've seen any of the Remo builds, it gets a little hard to see and decide what you're actually working on for depth. Right now we're hooking back up to the main, and I say that in quotations, road that comes into this place. This is going to be an abandoned rocket factory, and we're going to bring some of the stuff out back to map 1. One of the things is going to be that big rocket trailer. I'll have a good reason. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all again real soon.